welcome back to Underrated Movies. I am your guy, I am your man, Mr. Alton Henry. And today, I would like to talk to you of another underrated film you need to check out that's still currently in theaters. Unfortunately, the film is not doing well, and who knows, there's a number amount of reasons that this film is not doing well, but this film is a blast. And so far, it's probably my favorite film of the year so far, given it's only March. And this is Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. It's directed by Gore the Verbinski. And I'm surprised, man. This is literally his first film since A Cure for Wellness. That was back in 2016. Man, I I wonder what he's been doing since, man. Uh, I don't know. Maybe he got burnt out and just wanted a day job. And then he executive produced. I think it was The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. But anyway, that movie was before A Cure for Wellness. So I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. That's the thing with this. You could just pop in and out when you think you got something, and you just go back do a regular day job. I don't know. That's just sidetrack, but it's literally been 9 years since his last film. The story, starring Sam Rockwell, Haley Lou Richardson, Michael Pena, Zazie Beetz. The story centers around a man from the future, and you don't know this person's real name. All you know that he is the man from the future, which he is, who has come to a diner in Los Angeles to warn people of a potential threat with AI that will eventually take over the world. It's pretty much a parallel of what's happening today. So the movie is pretty much a predictive reflection of what could happen today or here on or any part of time from here on out is basically a warning of what's could happen. That's basically what the movie is. It's a sci-fi comedy, and it's not necessarily like Groundhog Day. It's not necessarily like Edge of Tomorrow. What this movie does uniquely is that it's already it sets up a character who's already gone through those loops so many different times. In fact, he's mentioned he's done it over 117 times, and each time he's done it and tried to get where he's trying to get to, he's always learned he's learned something about himself. He's learned something about what other ways he could have uh, uh, handled the situation differently, and he does. And you see this kind of calm and preachy vibe that the character delivers. And Sam Rockwell delivers this movie splendidly. I mean, this might be my favorite role of his of anything he's ever done. Because this movie here, he is the star of the movie. Like, I hope he gets an Oscar nomination for this. This movie really, to me, is his ideal role. That he's funny, he's supercharged. Like the movie feels very cartoony, dark humor kind of vibe where he plays this guy who's kind of burnt out doing the same thing over and over again, and he knows certain things about characters because he's done it repeatedly, and he's pretty much a soldier burnt out on paranoia and maybe a little weird because he's done the same thing over and over again. That he's crazy from that. Recruits these diners to help save the world. So what the movie does when it clocks in at over 2 hours, it takes time to introduce those characters. So it movie starts with the event and then it would flash back to each character's backstory as to why they're there, their purpose for being there. And it's interesting. Some of them may have a direct link to their story, overall story, and some don't. Some just experience certain aspects of what was going on, and they just happen to be recruited into this predicament. And, I actually like that a lot of these characters pretty much have their own stories of themselves, and then they kind of fit into a bigger picture why they're needed for this journey. Um, Haley Lou Richardson, whom I forgot that she was in Split. I thought she was another stand in this film, and there's a big twist between her and Sam Rockwell, which kind of explains certain ways of how Sam Rockwell's character would treat uh, her character, and it makes sense. I won't spoil. I won't really get into that. Which I think the film is also available now on you can rent it online because this movie's not doing too well, like at all. The production value of this film, surprisingly, is $20 million. It looks bigger than that. Like I love it where a filmmaker is able to manage a movie to make it feel like it's a big scope film, but it's on a small budget, and I'm really loving that. I'm really loving because it feels like a very contained story, but it does feel like it needed to add these extra add-ons to get you invested um to the characters and to why everything was happening the way that it's happening. Which was it felt like there was a lot of explaining exposition to kind of sell you why it was going on. And I think without Sam Rockwell in this, I think the movie would fall apart because I think for a subject matter like this, and it's a film that's about basically the end of the world with AI, and it's everybody's it's a touchy subject to tap on. I think it was vital to have an actor like Sam Rockwell to really deliver the lightheartedness of this film and make it fun because it's a very dystopian story, and each character that recruits them, that joins Rockwell, have some sort of dark omen or obstacle that they have to overcome, and hopefully they find their answers to. Hopefully they find the answers they're looking for prior to helping Sam Rockwell on this journey. Which I really think I think Sam Rockwell. No, I know Sam Rockwell should get an Oscar nod for this because to me, I think this is his best role. Uh, though there are some imagery in this film that I was a little taken aback of, and I won't get into it. It does deal with the triangle, and given that symbol has been referenced to certain specific reasons, which I won't get into, it does give a little unsettling vibe to it, especially if you're kind of aware what that symbol could be, especially if it's been popping up everywhere. And that's just me personally. That's just on a trivial side note. I just would like to point out. Yeah, it's kind of a conspiracy thing that's really kind of just going on. Uh, there is a moment of action, and I like that the film tries to keep the subject fun, knowing that it's still a dark story. It is very unpredictable. You can't really predict where the film was going, and that's what's really, that to me, that's what really I thought, stood out was where you kind of don't know where the story was going. And, I kind of like the twists and turns, little vibes of Terminator, um, elements. But the thing it really did kind of stood out was Sam Rockwell. Um, Again, without him, I think the movie would not be as good, but it's still good nevertheless. And this is one of the rare films where I believe, without that actor, this movie would not do that great. And it's a shame that this movie's not, doing well, man, because, man, I had a great time with this film. It has something to say about technology a lot. Uh, Stay off your phones. Stay away from these new texts. Uh, you just don't know, man. You really don't know. And it really gets you thinking. Like, it got me thinking heavily after this movie, when this movie was over. Um, you really got to question why things are there and what reason for it there. And if you miss it and just go about your day just ignoring it, you're gonna miss it, and then it could be too late. Uh, Also, the movie was strangely enough would remind me of, I can't name of it. It kind of reminds me of an episode of Time Squad. Anybody who grew up with Time Squad, or a vibe of Courage the Cowardly Dog, or Dexter. Like, it felt like no, it felt like a dark dystopian comedy horror episode of one of those cartoons. That is like the best way of tone I can really describe this movie. Like, it felt like an episode of one of those cartoons, which nothing anything wrong with it. I think it's probably one of the more reasons that I dug it, because I felt like there was an episode in one of those series, one of those shows that dealt with a story concept like this. I think Dexter Laboratory was one, and because it felt like an episode or a movie. Like, I'm thinking of Eagle Trip, Dexter's Laboratory's Eagle Trip, where, if I remember the story well, Dexter would go through multiple dimensions to recruit his other iterations of himself to start mankind from, I think it was using a new tech to take over the universe. And then they had to kind of go through trial and error to do it again. It felt like that. That's the best way of anybody who's iffy about wanting to get into this movie. Um, Anyone who grew up watching those cartoons, the best way I could probably sell you it is that it reminds me of a science fiction episode of one of those cartoons where it does touch on heavily subject matters, but they found a way to make it fun. Uh, do check this movie out. If you don't get around to watch it in the theater, then I highly recommend renting it out. Um, oh, yeah, do check it out. And also, I do know there are some very heavy dark times, like for real. And I do know watching a movie like this may not be the best moment of trial, not trial, but just best moment of time. But I do recommend trying to be anywhere where that shows light, positivity. Um, Avoid any negative information or suffering that may you may encounter, because I really believe I really believe something bad will really happen. Like, I do. And yeah, really be careful on what information you get, who's sharing it. If you need to pray 3 times a day, pray to God, pray to Jesus, um, pray to His Father, because I really do believe things are happening. You know, I'm sorry to kind of bring that out, but I don't know. It's just a lot of suffering out there, and it's normalized. A lot of things ain't making sense. I would say don't try to understand it, just be aware of it, and just say you got to get ready. But if you like this video, comment below. Let me know if you have seen the film. Would you recommend it? I certainly do. So far, I think it's the best movie of the year so far. Despite some imagery that was a little bit, um, they got you to think. They got me to think. Comment below and let me know what is your favorite underrated movie.